So welcome to all my fellow conspiracy theorists out there. My guest today is a well-known conspiracy theorist, Eddie Bravo, American Jiu-Jitsu instructor, founder of 10th Planet Jiu-Jitsu, regular guest on the Joe Rogan podcast. I'm sure millions of you now have actually seen episode 9/11, where they explored everything after being plied with whiskey and
natural medicines.
a mystery herbal. So thank you so much for being here. And just kind of jokingly there with the conspiracy theorist thing, because how does that make you feel sort of now being called a conspiracy theorist when it seems like time and time again, the theories are proven to be conspiracies?
Man, I wish I was wrong, to tell you the truth. I wish politicians, I was wrong about them. I wish they were trustworthy. I wish I was wrong about chemtrails. I wish I was wrong about, because if conspiracy theorists are right, then we're in some hot water. So I want to be wrong.
Yeah. Well, no, exactly. We were putting out some articles from InfoWars, Prison Planet from 2006, where we were talking about the fact that the NSA, the deep state, they are working with Microsoft, all these sort of intelligence agencies working with these technology agencies to spy on mass Americans. People called us conspiracy theorists. And then here, Vault 7, with Edward Snowden and his releases, people kind of got a little taste of it that, wow, maybe I should put some tape over my computer camera. But now with this latest Vault 7, we're seeing that, Donald Trump's worried about Obama wiretapping him. It goes way deeper than that. We're all being surveilled all the time.
Yeah. And no, everyone's cool with that. I mean, when I was growing up, we would say, oh, Russia is just so evil because they're just spying on you and they're always watching you. And we thought, wow, how could you live in Russia? And so and Russia was just red. It looked like, in my head, it was like you lived on Mars. And back then, there wasn't the internet. So spying on you meant like a guy with in a shadowy figure with a hat. And he's like, and he's spying on you. That's what that
Exactly.
But now you don't need a spy like that. You can spy with on Facebook,
right? Or your telephone or your Samsung TV that they turn into a recording device, and they're watching you when it's in off.
Yeah, a shout out to whoever came up with whatever Illuminati member came up with smartphone. Oh my God, that's a good one.
That is a very good one.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like? So we're just going to just start going weird and deep. Do you ever feel like, for instance, I've got right now, Google is putting the fiber optics cables all throughout my neighborhood, tearing it up. Do you ever feel like they're just building the matrix around us? I mean, these fiber optic cables are basically going to be like the nerve center in our earth. Yeah. And then, of course, I know you talk about chemtrails and stuff. I mean, do you ever just feel like they're building this with all of these?
Yeah, it's brilliant. If I was in the Illuminati, I would be, shit. I'd be proud. I'm like, wow, it's amazing. You got them all on Facebook?
Yeah.
Like, how did you get rid of MySpace?
It's like, I'm totally fine as long as I get super fast internet.
That was the first task, is like, everyone's on MySpace. So someone in the Illuminati said, MySpace, that's the best way to spy on them. Wow.
Yeah.
And so they came up with Facebook, but they had to get rid of MySpace. That was tough.
Right.
It's tough. MySpace was huge.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But they did it, and now that everyone's on Facebook. And man, they got us by the balls.
Well, and it's really interesting too when you talk to people. They don't believe that the CIA came knocking with Mark Zuckerberg and said, "Hey, we'll give you a lot of money if you build this facial recognition database for us, like Snapchat and stuff." People putting the filters on their face. I mean, all it's doing is helping to build the facial recognition database and helping them perfect their ability to track us at all times.
Yeah, it's brilliant. And man, I couldn't even think of any improvements if I was in the Illuminati. I'm like, dude, you guys are doing fucking great. You're recording all their phone conversations when the phone is off. What about when they take out the battery? They go, we got to make a phone where you can't take the battery out.
Yeah, it's a
secret,
a fake off. I think that was this umbrage that they talked about, with the umbrage with the Samsung TVs. It's actually a project that the CIA stole from the Russians that allows them to use like a fake off mode, and it will still continue. If you're just there thinking your television's off, it's actually a recording device, and they can still turn your camera on remotely. I mean, it's insane to me. It's very, I feel like sometimes giving the Illuminati or these secret families or whatever too much credit. To me, it's like off-Earth entities. To me, it's just beyond what we can even comprehend. So I would, I've got you right here. Let's talk about chemtrails because I have my own theories about chemtrails. Obviously, I'm not an idiot. I can see that they're spraying something in the sky, and I know the difference between a contrail and a chemtrail. What do you think about them?
I mean, you don't have to be a rocket scientist to look up every day and you see real clouds, real natural clouds, and then you see jetliners with legit contrails that disappear in 30 seconds. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. That's totally normal. Mm-hmm. And then this plane, it's not in a flight pattern because I know where the airport's at. I know how the planes land and take off. I'm on a plane every other week. Been doing that for the last 15 years. All you need is a third grade education just to look up and go, wait a minute, what are these planes over here doing? They just keep going back and forth. And oh my God, look, those contrails are not like the legit ones. These spread out and cover the entire sky. They're covering the entire sky. They're going back and forth. So you don't even have to be able to talk to just realize something's going on. Mm-hmm. It's obvious. And what they're doing, I don't know. I don't know. But if I was in the Illuminati, I would say just spray benign stuff every day. Just get them used to it. Get them used to it. It's benign. They can test it, whatever. Boom, boom, boom. Then they're going to grow up, and it's going to be like that. There's people that look at that.
That's natural.
It's like there's
that's what the Earth does
mass
now.
Hypnosis going on. Dude, that's by an airport. That's an airport.
Yeah.
Anyways, don't legit contrails, aren't they like at 30,000 feet? When you're near an airport, you're at 10,000 feet for maybe a couple hundred miles. There's no legit contrails anywhere near an airport.
Well, all I know,
if with the mainstream contrail science,
it should and they disappear. They disappear.
Once I hit 30,000 feet, you should be nowhere near the goddamn airport.
Right.
So anyway, but it's an example of mass hypnosis. That's all. So I would do. I would just spray them with benign stuff, get them used to it, and then if we needed to, shut them up or sedate them or whatever, then or put a cancer virus or whatever if you got to that sinister point where the people were waking up and realizing that they had all the power, I'd say, you know what, let's start putting some whatever in those and then boom, no one would even see it.
There's video from like 2 decades ago where you actually have a weatherman talking about, they call it chum, and they're releasing like metallic particles into the atmosphere, and he just is calmly talking about, well, yeah, the Air Force does this, and
chaff,
chum, say, something like that. Chum is for the sharks.
Yeah, I go, I thought, okay, cool. Is that what they're calling chaff now? That's that's pretty good. It's the same
thing. There you go. Look it up. We got the documents. But yeah, they're putting these metallic alloys and things in the sky because it blocks the radar. And so there, a plane could be hidden or something. For me, and then an article just came out about a month ago where they were talking about turning the atmosphere into basically a surveillance. So if a pilot or an astronaut or whatever wants to look into the planet, the sky itself, you guys got to Google this. This is legit. It's like a surveillance. They can zoom in, almost like with Google Earth, but they can do it via the sky because it's the ionosphere. I mean,
well, I'm no scientist, nowhere near a scientist.
See,
I'm not
massive surveillance system.
Yeah. But if you spray metallic particles in the atmosphere, and as it comes down and covers the ground,
people are going to get sick.
Wouldn't you be able to get like killer maps from that, like military type, like you can see where everything is at? Like, I don't even know if that's how it works, but it seems like couldn't you figure it out with the metallic particles land on whatever, boom, instant map or
exactly.
something?
Well, think about it. They actually have that stuff where you can spray it on like trees and things. So you're thinking that you're going to go off the grid and you can escape into the woods or whatever. They already have the spray where you can spray it on the trees and it makes it like a Wi-Fi, or it picks up the signal. I mean, So yeah, that's a great point. I never even thought about that. I just know that, people talk about the HEART program and things like that, which they've allegedly shut down. But that's because they've figured out something new that they don't need the HEART program anymore.
This whole time, there's people that are under hypnosis, and then there's a few people that just drive around. I look at the sky and check the sky every morning. Like, you just get used to it. It's like a habit. But every time I walk out, I check the sky out to see if there's any bullshit. And there was a time there when John O'Brien announced what we were waiting for him to announce for 10 years. I'll get to that, but anyways, maybe I should explain that first.
Yes.
So for years, the people that look up and see suspicious activity, stuff they've been doing for decades, they've been trying to control the weather. They talk about it. There's documents. And you see, it's probably has something to do with some weather experiments, or maybe it's not an experiment. Maybe they know at this point exactly what they're doing, and maybe they spray metallic particles for this reason or that reason. Some people think it's super sinister reasons, like, they're trying to mind control, or they're poisoning you, so skeptics will go, dude, you think the CIA is poisoning you?
They're poisoning themselves too.
Yeah, it's like, I'm not saying they're poisoning you. I don't know what it is. All I know is
something.
Metallic particles.
Why don't we have access to it?
They talk about doing it. There's all these programs on like that, like National Geographic and the
geospatial.
And like coming in the future, they're going to have to start spraying metallic particles. That's how they do it.
They're already doing it.
Yeah, exactly. But that's how they roll it out. So we've been saying for years, watch, eventually they're going to be forced to come out and admit they're going to do it. They admit they're going to do it first, and they're going to say it's because they're protecting the planet. And, they're trying to stop global warming.
Exactly.
We predicted that. I predicted that. It's obvious.
Well, and that's the thing.
It's obvious that they're going to do, because that's what you do. Let's say you got a job and you're living with your mom and your dad, and you got this, you finally get a job, and your mom and dad are really, really happy. You got this job and you're working there for 6 months, and then finally you just quit. You hated it, but you didn't tell your parents. You quit, but you didn't tell them. You pretended like you were going to work. The best thing to do, if you're smart, is like tell them that you want to quit. And you complain about the job.
Get them ready for it.
Get them ready for it. Just tell them you hate it. You don't know what you're going to do. You want to quit, but you're going to stick it out. And then when you finally do quit, it's not a big surprise. But meanwhile, you quit. You've been doing the same. You did that a long time ago. That's the same thing with this. Eventually, it's natural. You don't have to be a genius to figure out that's what they're going to do. They always do it. Eventually, they're going to come out and admit that they're going to do it. They're looking into it.
Well, they're like, oh, by the way, we have to admit that we've been mass surveilling millions of Americans and people all over the planet for decades. Yeah. And oh, by the way, thank you, we've built this massive surveillance grid via these chemtrails in the sky, which is putting these aluminum particles in the ionosphere, which basically turns it into like massive Wi-Fi, the cloud. Yeah. What is the cloud?
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
How does that work? That's incredible shit. But finally, last June of 2016, John O'Brien, the head of the CIA, gets in front of the CFR. You can watch this on YouTube. There's a million versions of it. It's only 2 minutes. He gets up in front of the CFR and says, hey, been looking into stratospheric aerosol injections.
Stratospheric aerosol injection.
They keep changing. It was like solar radiation management. They keep changing names. So when they finally come out, it's not the name that they've been saying. Like, the conspiracy theories. Oh, no, this isn't geoengineering. Or actually, he does admit it's geoengineering. This isn't chemtrails. This is
solar radiation management.
Because that's what skeptics are saying. Yeah. Because he's not admitting chemtrails. He's admitting stratospheric aerosol injection. That's how retarded people.
Right.
So anyways, here he is, John O'Brien. He comes on and he says, we've been looking into these stratospheric aerosol injections. We're very interested in it. It's only going to cost $10 billion a year.
The National Research Council estimates that a fully deployed SAI program would cost about $10 billion yearly.
It's relatively inexpensive. It's only going to cost about $10 billion. That's what he said. And then he said, but there's going to be some geopolitical problems. There's going to be some countries that are going to be against saving the the world from global warming. They're going to because it's going to change their weather, and they're going to be, you know, some people are going to have favorable weather, and some people are going to have shitty weather.
I mean, we haven't been doing that to places like Africa and other countries all this time.
That's what's going to happen.
Yeah, no,
So they go, we got to figure out how to get them on board, even though they're going to be stuck with the shitty weather, right? I'm sorry. But this is what he's saying. He's saying this. He's saying this. We've been saying it. So the crazy conspiracy the whole time with the whole conspiracy was the basic conspiracy theory is the CIA is spraying some stuff in the sky. And the skeptics were like, dude, the CIA is spraying shit in the sky?
Yeah, it's like they would do that
over and over. And then again, another conspiracy theorist, the CIA is spraying stuff in the sky. And then another skeptic go, you guys are fucking crazy. I'm sorry.
Hey, guys, Vault 7, if you think all these crazy conspiracy theorists... Now, this Vault 7 and WikiLeaks, their releases have basically been memory hold that you can't even find these. No one, CNN, they're not even really talking about it because they don't want you to know what they're up to. Okay, stay right there because I want to get Owen Schroyer in here. I know he's itching to get in so we can talk about some even more Eddie Bravo Unplugged conspiracy theories. Stick around. We'll be right back.
This is one of the biggest secrets out there. The missing link of why our ancestors, whether you were in Africa or ancient Albion, which is England today, why our ancestors were so much stronger. I mean, there are huge archaeological reports, all sorts of anthropology studies, you can look them up for yourself, that show that humans, just an average farmer of 10,000 years ago in England, was stronger than Olympic athletes today. In the final equation, everyone knows our modern society has lost its vitality. The sperm counts are down like 90%. People are falling apart. They're totally depressed. They're unhappy. What is going on? Every ancient culture was obsessed with what I'm about to reveal to you. Today we call it bone broth, and for thousands of years our ancestors enjoyed its benefits before it became lost to our modern diets of processed junk. That's why I'm so excited to announce the product that is undoubtedly the jewel in the crown of InfoWars Life products. Caveman. We lost our vitality because we just ignored the ancient traditions. Everyone knew that you used all the parts of the animal. You used the skin to cover yourself or for shelter. You used the meat for sustenance, the fat for cooking, but you used the bones for strength. We are now introducing Caveman by InfoWarsLife.com, the ultimate in true paleo nutrition with bone broth, turmeric root, chaga mushroom, and 7 total primal superfoods in a single great tasting formula. The bone is so amazing. From the outside structure full of minerals and key cofactors to the marrow that produces the blood for the body. This is the engine of the life essence. I've made a lot of important points here, but this is the one you need to research for yourself because it's so key. High-quality bone broth helps support healthy muscles and connective tissue, while the active compounds in turmeric do battle on the cellular level and help fight free radicals. And collagen is essential to aid healthy tendons, ligaments, and muscle tissue. This is an absolute win-win. You get an amazing product produced right here in America. You support InfoWars and all we're doing to promote freedom and the restoration of our republic and promotion of freedom worldwide. The journey towards better health and giving our bodies these amazing compounds that God created starts at InfoWarsLife.com. 3 years in the making, incredible research, and the very best ingredients. I'm Alex Jones, and I may not be a caveman, but compared to these trendies out there in the street, I'm as close as it gets. Join me at InfoWarsLife.com and get your caveman formula today.